Oh god, my face. Welcome back. My name is, of course, Nujum. I thought it would be fun for us to take a look at these items. Although, did we do that? Oh shoot. This is a new recording session if you couldn't guess. Shoot. I don't remember if we did these at the end of last episode. I was thinking at the beginning of this episode we could do it. I don't remember what I said at the end of last episode, so, yeah. We just won't worry about it for now. For now,
the old world
we have to put in a core.
The new world's just getting started.
I love the animation for that. Before I really get into it, I want to emphasize a few things that I'm noticing after not playing this game for a little bit. I can't zoom in, but on the back of Bastion, there's this gear, and unless I'm mistaken, yeah, it's the city crest. He has the city crest on his back, which is a really interesting thing, because keep in mind, right, you have to make a player model. That's just kind of something you have to do. But they managed to find a way to integrate the world into this player model, right? In fact, let's talk about some characters for a second. Currently, we know two characters. We know the kid, and we know Russell. Spoiler alert, his name's Russell. It's not really important to the story, but I don't think they've said it yet. I believe he mentions his name a bit later on. Also, by the way, I changed how the sound is. The music's a little bit louder and the sound effects are a little bit lower, so hopefully you can get a little bit more of the music. But that's, that's that. This is Russell. And you'll notice that Russell and the kid have a few similarities. His name's the kid, his name isn't Bastion. His name's never really said. If we talk to Russell, you can see we have these two things to talk to. Look at the description here. Ask about the ragged hood belonging to some ill-fated gas fellow. Why are they flooding the city, ransacking its remains? Of course, as we looked over here, we can see a completely different description. It's a memento, a soiled garment like the gas fellows wear. Gas fellows used to tend the mines, now are storming the remains of Slandia and allowing numbers before what? I'll let you think about why it's important, why this change happens by letting Russell talk a little bit.
The windbags used to be alright. Then the calamity took the floor out from under him. Folks voyaged across the boundless sea to found Caelandia. It was good living here for a while.
So, as most of you probably have guessed, this is to enhance the aspect of what we call the silent protagonist. It is a character that's intentionally meant to be a blank slate, right? You adopt their skin color, their army experience, but ultimately this character is supposed to embody you, the player. You, the player, should be able to more easily, relate to Bastion, because he doesn't really have a past of his own, at least not one that is explicitly told to us. He doesn't have his own voice. Everything he does is implied
Ain't always much to
through
say.
questions here, right? And when we see he'll talk to other characters, he won't actually say anything, he won't be given a voice ever, but he will say things, right? And the characters will react as if he is saying things, which I think is a really interesting decision, because A, it cuts out on a voice actor. I mean, let's be honest, all of the voice acting budget went into Russell here. It's just easier for the player to identify with a character that isn't really of their own making, if that makes sense. And that's not to say the kid doesn't have his own character. The kid has characteristics. You can tell just by what he's wearing that he's somewhat patriotic. He's some kind of soldier. He has army experience. It's the Sillery again.
Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply.
I tried explaining this before, I think. So I'll avoid saying it again. Didn't I already do this? Oh well.
Party punch is so zesty, it'll let you carry on through the worst of times.
Alright. But the kid does have characteristics, right? Oh, this looks like a fun layout. Fun as in it's not going to be useful at all, but okay. Let's switch this out for more squirt lure. And upgrade you. Still don't know what this money's called. I guess we'll just call it money. And
Turns out those old bones still have
by the
some
way,
spark in
I
them.
need to talk about this system later because I love this system. Just like a mental note to myself. But yeah, everything about the kid sort of, it's intentionally sort of conservative, right? Like he looks like he's ready for combat, but he's not like about to punch you as some characters might, right? If you think of, oh god, what game was I playing? There was a game I was playing recently. It was a Wii game, Punch-Out. So you know Punch-Out for the Wii? Or I guess the Wii, I don't know. It's like on the WiiWare thing. There's like a bunch of characters that look like they're going to beat you up at any moment, right? They look very aggressive. But the kid doesn't have any of those qualities. Like, yeah, he's got his arms up, like he's about to punch someone. But in terms of like actually, his model, he seems like pretty relaxed, you know? Kind of like, oh, if you come for me, I'll punch you, but you know, we won't worry about anything before then. Sort of conservative. Sundown Path. I guess I've already said the info for that. Gaining experience levels raises your maximum health. Like ass. I love the tooltips, because they do have to load these. I feel like
Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure though.
I feel like really any way you can enhance loading times to make them not suck is great. There's the gate. Let's go ahead and poke some things here. Oh wait, I forgot about this area. Okay, I'll let you guys experience this area for yourselves.
But then,
So take a look at this. It's like some sort of tourist attraction. You can tell by the tiles. It feels very like Arabian. Same thing with like the props that were here. These pillows feel very like sort of Egyptian, Asian style. It's pretty standard grass. And this whole place has like a very yellow coloring to it, which I think is supposed to be like, hey, it feels more like a desert, right? And then this happens.
somebody gets to the core before the kid. Floor starts giving way under the lightest step. A single panic squirt could bring the whole place down. So could a reckless kid, for that matter.
By the way, I love the squirt. If you can't tell, the squirt over here, he's not fighting you. He's green, which signals to the player that he's on your side.
Fragments of the old world rain from the sky.
Which is something you should have learned in the last area you should have played. Unless you didn't play it, because you can't play these slightly out of order. But that squirt, he's just here running around like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Stray valuables are lying everywhere. Kid thinks twice.
This was
about
not the
risking
path
his
I should have
hide
gone.
though.
Oh, this feels dangerous.
Well, the path ain't exactly open to visitors no more.
Ooh. Close range sort of fire enemies. It's always fun. Somehow got hit even though my entire kit is like just ranged weapons.
See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such.
I'm like
Not so much for noise and tomfoolery.
I'm trying to focus on just sort of using my weapons to gain what experience I can, but I'm not doing a good job of it because I'm sort of also trying to look at the area around me. For example, I'm trying to look at like, when are things falling? Are these like on triggers? I think they are, because this isn't like a Metroidvania style level, right? This is a very direct linear path.
Sky bridges link the path
So I
together.
think everything so far has been done through triggers.
One of them bridges whips the kid along.
So like, it looks like when the kid gets to this spot, that's when this comes. This bridge isn't built yet. So they force the player to walk. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Finds a spyglass.
They make
Like the
you...
ones they'd use to search the stars.
who's the developer? SuperGiant, I think. They make you like walk up to here before the rest of the bridge comes, sort of taking on a leap of faith. You can easily get pretty tricked though, because if you jump on
Air
this,
travel always was an
yeah,
easy proposition.
that's what I thought. You like, if you jump on that, oh god,
Quick and careful is the only way to go.
I was not expecting the ground to fall that way.
The calamity changed everything.
My phone
Even
just
when
went
the
off, and
wind
you probably
blows.
heard that. But yeah, it's, you see these things, you just realize that, hey, they're helping you jump, which is pretty useful, so that in the future, if the developer wants... Is there something... What the heck? Something's like throwing goop at me from like really far away. But yeah, that was just a quick area to teach you, hey, this is how this new block thing works. We need to take care of this guy who's threatening us from afar. That's kind of cool. That he's like in a completely different area and he's like affecting us here.
Well, if we mastered the winds in the old days,
It kind of like makes you,
we
oh
can do
no,
it
I killed that guy.
again.
I didn't want
But
to...
the question is,
Good thing the bow is pretty good. I find myself
who
just...
else could have taken the core?
I find myself just not using the Fang repeater at all. I need to remember
Well, ain't no survivor stole the thing.
to say the name, because I was doing an awful job of that in the first episode. Looks like I need to kill this guy because there's a gate here. Video game logic tells me if there is something that's locked, I need to do something.
Scumbag ate it by mistake.
Which, by the way, by itself is one of my favorite things about games. Something that games rely on is you, or indie games especially can rely on, is you being a gamer, right? You don't find games like Bastion if you're not a gamer, frankly. Even if you are a gamer, you might not know about a game like Bastion. Why can I not hit you?
Tough break. Unlike the kid, that core ain't coming back.
And because you have that instinct, there are a few things you can do basically with the trust that the player will pick up on them, right? So, for example, if I go to options and controls, I have WASD as my movement, right? Up, down, left, right, they don't do anything, right? And that's something they're able to do because they know, hey, this guy's a player. He's probably played a WASD game at some point in his life. This isn't Angry Birds. You don't have to cater to a casual market, and that lets you do a lot of cool stuff. Like, for example,
they used to ship live
the
munitions
gates.
down the path.
These gates
Find time to
don't
find 'em.
open unless you do something specific, and the specific thing doesn't really follow a logical order, right?
He's wise to toss those things plenty far away.
By the way, this is a really cool special, probably one of the best in the game. Oh, you're still alive. Oh, that's a secret? What? Oh my god, that's awesome! I actually didn't know about that. So they hid... I'm not sure if you noticed, but this platform was in a wall, and if you didn't break the rocks, you actually just would straight up
Even
never have
gas
found
fellas
it.
need some shut-eye from time to time. They get real cranky
God.
when you wake 'em up.
That moment when you think you have the hammer, but you don't. You gotta keep your distance. I really like actually having the duo ranged weapons, even though I'm only using the bow, really. It feels really, like, skillful for me to just play this sort of sniper class, right? Oh, that's the exit. I probably should have just run in there.
In all his toil, Kid keeps coming back to an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? So he didn't find the core that time, but that ain't about to stop us.
Who else could have survived the calamity? Oh, we didn't find the core, right? Oh yeah, we have a little squirt buddy. I forgot about you. So, a few things. One, I realized I didn't really talk about Russell and the kid. I talked about both of them individually, but I didn't talk about them together. You notice, of course, that they share a skin color and a hair color, right? Currently, that's the only way we know them, so we just sort of accept it as, hey, this is how the characters are in this world, right? which is interesting in its own right. But something that you might occur to you in this game, what is the relationship between these two? They clearly don't know each other, but they look so similar, and Russell knows so much, right? It feels like he knows everything that's happening, why it's happening, and how he's going to fix it, right? He's the one who sends you to get the core. He's the one who tells you about fixing the forge and all this stuff, right? Something burnt. We don't have that weapon yet. Let me actually switch back to the hammer. Just like it better. And so, some questions arise from the fan base. Are these two related, maybe? Is maybe Russell the kid's dad? And you'll see why people think that actually pretty soon, probably. If not in this episode, then hopefully in the next. But also, towards the end of the game, an event happens that make you question Russell maybe being the kid, which is one of my favorite fan theories of this game, by the way. Let's go ahead and talk to him about something. We have a bronze spyglass. Let's read this on our own first. A memento, a portable telescopic lens used for stargazing. The sundown path once held breathtaking views of the stars, the mountains, and the sea. Now only the stars remain. It's definitely no mountains. Don't know about a sea. That's an interesting description. Only the stars remain on the horizon, the mountains are gone. We're no closer to the stars now, are we?
We could always see the stars. We just never could reach them, no matter how high we built.
That was actually a really cool moment. That camera pan added so much there. I love that. Excuse me while I nerd out about game design and I take a rather long time to do what should realistically be really simple tasks, but I don't... What is going on with my computer? Is it lagging? Oh my god. So this happened in the first episode where it was framing a bunch. Hopefully in between I will fix it. Or maybe I'll just cut this one short. That might be for the best. Let me at the very least get the info for you down.
The Hanging Gardens. Folks used to go here to relax from their relaxing.
And let's go you.
That's Windbag Ranch. Perfect place to work a blade if you got the stomach for it.
Right. I will experiment a little bit off camera. See if I can do something about this framing. Because now that I see it, it's bothering me. It's something I noticed when I was working on the first episode, but it only really happened in large open spaces where the game was trying to render like a bunch of enemies at once, and it was only for a little bit. But now it just seems constant. Maybe it's just Bastion. I don't know. I'll try to fix it. So yeah, thank you all for watching. My name's Nujum. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.